Welcome, welcome to our Be Still Kids Yoga and Mindfulness Teacher Training, your certification course. I'm really happy that you all are here. This YouTube channel is a private channel that only students in the course have access to. You have lifelong access to this, so anything that you need to go back and look at as you're taking your kids' yoga and mindfulness teacher journey, you have access to. So what I'll do here is provide numerous short videos giving you examples and explanations of some of the activities that we use, props that we use. We'll even have some videos here that actually, we demonstrate things with kids. So it's another way for you to have access to the learning. Obviously, this is, learning to do yoga and mindfulness with kids is something that you really need to practice physically as well. So these videos and this channel serves to give you access to that kind of modeling, right? So just really quick, let me just, for those of you who I haven't spoken with a lot directly, my name is Mary Ward Lupinacci. I am the owner of Be Still Kids. I'm a mindful learning specialist. I have a really strong and long background in education, specifically in therapeutic education, so I'll go through that quickly. Not so much as a way to show you my expertise, but as a way for you to sort of understand all of the different ways and places that this training has come together, all of the different kinds of experiences and education I've put into making this program what I'm going to call, I'm just going to say it, the most thorough and complete kids yoga and mindfulness training that is offered. Just said it, didn't I? And that's because of my experience that I bring to this, right? So, and the fact that we've got a studio here where kids come regularly, and you get to see that, and you get to even interact with them through one of your live practicum experiences, which is hard to find and rare, especially in an online program. So I have a degree in psychology and a master's degree in counseling psychology. So I did 2 programs in my master's in counseling. I did a school counseling program with internship and a community counseling program with an internship in a private practice doing work with children and families. So I have a really broad range of experience or education in those things. I also have done extensive training in trauma-informed teaching practices and counseling practices. Also advanced training in art therapy and play therapy. And then I also have done all of the work in yoga and mindfulness that I'll tell you about as well. And I currently am working on my PhD in education. My dissertation is on mindfulness in schools and how we might be using mindfulness to teach anti-oppression pedagogy in schools. And I'm almost done with that. This time, spring 2018, that should be complete. Let's hope. Honestly, it has to be because that's my deadline. So it will be. So with that, that's the education piece, right? I've also trained, so in terms of yoga, I have a kids yoga certification and a 200-hour YTT certification. And then I also did extensive training with the Samaria Center in a program called Integrated Movement Therapy. And that's just a really incredible type of training, very similar to what we do here, that uses yoga and movement with kids and adults in really therapeutic ways. So I've done training in all of those things. I also have, so that's the education piece. I worked as a special education teacher in Boston for several years, and at a school for at-risk urban youth. So basically that meant kids who had been kicked out of Boston public schools for their behaviors. And when I say kicked out, I mean pushed out. That's a topic for another day that we don't need to get too far into right now, but I have some very strong opinions about. I have worked as a behavior specialist in a middle school in El Cajon, California. Also kids who were being pushed out of the regular education setting. And when I moved back, so I'm from Washington State, Spokane, Washington originally. After I sort of moved and traveled, doing some work for most of my 20s, I moved back to Spokane and went to graduate school, but also started an in-home tutoring business that did some really incredible things in the community, sort of took off in a way that I was not prepared for, and did that for a handful of years as well. So I have a really broad range of experience. During my time that I've been doing my PhD, I have been teaching at Washington State University in the teacher education program. So I teach pre-service teachers before they go into the classroom and their student teaching. So all of that to say that I realized pretty early on in my education career that kids needed something more than what they were getting in the classroom. They really needed something more tangible, something that would connect them to themselves, to their communities, to the world at large, right? And really what the kids I was working with really needed a more therapeutic setting, and needed to be in a space where they were expressing their learning and their emotions differently. So I started developing mindfulness practices and movement practices while I was teaching in Boston. So that would have been quite a long time ago, 14 years ago, maybe almost 15 years ago, that I started really working on these practices and how to use them. And so all of that to say, I've got this really broad range of experience and extensive knowledge base. And so what I'm sharing with you here is the culmination of all of that, and what I genuinely believe, and I think that if you're here, you do too, is that we have an opportunity with kids to teach them in more authentic ways. We have a way to work with them in ways that engage all of themselves, right? Their minds and their bodies, their spirits, their emotions, all of those things. And I just always think if we have that opportunity, then and we recognize it, and we have some sort of interest in sharing that, then we're obligated to, because we know that kids aren't getting those types of opportunities in a lot of spaces. So that's what we're here to do, right? And I'm just happy you're here. I applaud you all for making that choice, and this journey is going to be good together.